Yo, 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 what is up, guys? We are back with the Paint Your Path podcast. We have Joel Mercado and we got Aiden Smith, man. How you doing, Joel?
Doing great, man. I can't complain. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year, man. Merry Christmas. Happy
Yes.
holidays. How was your holidays?
Dude, it was great. I was in Mexico and then got
Oh,
to spend
shit.
time at home, which is important.
Yeah, nah, for sure, bro. Did you feel like, it was good, like hanging with the fam and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, typically, we haven't been to the family's home since like 8 years ago. So it was a good time to just kind of kick back, relax. And yeah, man, just kind of slow it down before speeding it up. How about you?
Yeah, honestly, bro. I mean, it's been like a hectic first couple weeks of the new year. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I feel like I've been just consumed with the painting business, especially after liftoff. Just like
Yeah.
an influx of kind of inquiries, as well as we just had some family down for the weekend. Brothers, cousins, got a little wild. I'm trying to go back to my roots and say like, all right, we need to get back to business.
Yeah.
So I'm like hydrating right now. It's like, yeah, we're getting back into it, bro. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. How
dude.
about them birds, baby?
Oh, I'm repping it right now. I had to. What a game, bro.
Absolutely.
It's we didn't look awesome, but we got the dub. That's what matters. Saquon
100%.
looked amazing.
It's
Go
awesome,
birds,
dude.
man. We're going for the bowl. What were your thoughts on liftoff, man? We were both a part of it. Both speakers had our own spot, bro. That's huge.
Dude, liftoff is how do I word it? What a great time of year to get in front of so many people
Yeah,
online at the convenience of your home and everyone being experts at what they do
for
and just
free.
grabbing it for free. Like it's wild, dude.
Yeah,
So I got a lot of great feedback on every speaker. Like everyone's just like, dude, like liftoff was fire this year again. And man, like it's just so specific to everyone's needs and niches. And I think you can almost get an answer for every problem you might have
yeah,
just by logging on to that call.
it's huge, bro.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to like that's almost like that event is like the embodiment of Tanner, like the bringing together people, right? Like taking your strength, putting it on display, and changing lives, right? Like that was the goal. And I feel like too when you do it early on, it gives people a chance to say, "Hey, I'm going with that marketing company. I'm going with that coach. I'm adopting that philosophy or strategy. We're going to implement it in our business, get it running by like February 1st, and we're good to go." That's a game
100%.
changer,
100%.
that's huge. So nah, man, it was an awesome event. Glad to be a part of it, and a lot of awesome people also, right? Like I feel
Yeah.
like this community just keeps getting stronger. You keep adding really cool people, right? Vendors here and there. So it's interesting, man. We have a really good support group, and like there's no shortage of help in any area when it comes to a painting business. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. I
It's
wish I
it's
had this 6
insane.
years ago.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I had no idea. I keep saying I had no idea any of this existed when I was in Philly. No
Yep.
idea. So
Yep.
grateful,
Same.
bro, man. It's huge.
Same, brother.
Other than that, what do you got? What else you got going on?
Man, there's just so many things shifting so fast, right?
The
Doing some
speaking event?
speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling you a little earlier. Actually, this Wednesday, I fly out to Vancouver. Going to be speaking in front of Scholar's Edge in a franchise company. So, Scholar's Edge is going to have 100 students, and then Wilson Pro probably about 50 franchise. It's about 150 people total, I
Yeah.
think. Super excited about it. I was like, "What do you guys want me to talk about?" They're like, "Get everybody pumped up for the year." I was like, "That's my lane."
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Anytime we get a chance to like go out and speak at anything, I mean, we're taking it. You have to.
100%,
Um,
100%.
and also Expo's coming up. You going to that?
I wish, man.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
dude, you're killing me.
I know this year the timing is a little off for me because I'm doing some recordings and stuff.
Yeah,
So there's a lot of behind the scenes I haven't really been telling a lot of people. But I'm doing
sure.
a course online finally, and a lot of it's mindset heavy.
Mm,
And it's mindset heavy for contractors in general,
yeah,
not just painters alone, but you could use it anywhere.
sure.
So I'm actually going to be recording that, and unfortunately, I cannot make the PCA Expo.
Damn.
However, I know you're going to hold it down and the rest of my boys, so I'm excited to hear about you guys.
Yeah, nah, it's gonna be fun, dude. The first one was awesome, right? It was kind of like how we met everybody, right, for
Yep.
the first time. And then the second one, I wish I had a booth, man. We're going through the rebrand, and I feel like it wasn't the best timing. But
Yeah.
I feel like next year we're gonna get the booth. So this year we're gonna really kind of hang around DripJobs table. That's gonna be like our HQ, and
Yeah.
that's in the thick of it. You know, we did that last year, and it worked out really good. So kind of
I'm
doing the same
excited, dude.
setup. We got a videographer coming out. We're getting an Airbnb with the coaching guys. So that's going to be fun. First time doing
Nice.
something like that, man. So I'm just like extremely grateful for not only the opportunities, but like the community we're building, right? Same with
Yeah.
you, right? It's like every time we hop on the call, I feel like, oh, our boys, we're back together. You know what I'm saying? Like the last
Absolutely.
one we joined, you're like, Aiden, Matt, Peach. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. You know, it was
I
really
got
cool.
excited, man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man.
That's
What are
good.
you going to be speaking on for PCA?
Yeah, so I'm on the estimating panel. It's
Nice.
me, Eric with Pathfinder Marketing.
Yep.
And there's another one, I think Tara. I think she's with Fresh Coat in some way. She's like
okay.
the GM, I believe. If I get that wrong, I'm sorry. But I think she's she was a higher up at Fresh Coat, something
Wow.
like that. So
God, that's exciting.
any chance I get, bro. I mean, like I said, that's huge. Yeah, man. One of the topics I wanted to talk about for this episode, man, was the power of reading, bro. Everywhere I go, all I hear is, readers are leaders. That's
Yes.
like one of the quotes that Jason Phillips says. That's one of the main things you talk about. I mean, I've watched production meetings with your team, and you've literally reviewed a chapter every single week. Like, that's huge. Those are things you
Yes.
don't even think about, you know? So if you could, man, I mean, just speak to a little bit about that and how that has helped you.
Yeah, man. It's funny. I'm 40 years old now, and I didn't pick up my first book till I was 30.
Yeah.
And I wish I did earlier on because, you get many mentors in books.
Mhm.
And, what resonates for me, what a lot of people think they need to have a level of how many books they read, and I truly believe is a level of the quality of books you read.
Yeah.
So you guys hear me repeat the same thing over and over again, right? Like I've read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People like 10 times already.
Yeah.
21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Last year alone, because I coach on it, I must have read it probably like 12 times last year alone,
Mhm.
right? Think about the power of the repeat in the reads of something that you believe in. You catch something new every time you reread it. And it's because there's something in those books that you go, okay, now I'm running through that in my life. I'm dealing with that right now, and it makes sense. I resonate with it. I'm going to execute and implement, and then boom, I'm going to see the results of that.
Yeah.
So I'm really big about that. I think reading is such a big, strong skill, I would say. And the reason why I say skill is because you have to create a habit on the reading as well, right? Because it's like almost puts you in a flow state. And then when you execute it, you're like, man, I'm actually learning by implementing now. I think that's so powerful, right? It's like, dude, you buy a book for once, you read it, you study it, you implement it, and you start impacting lives, right?
Yeah.
And think about it. John C. Maxwell, he's in his 80s, right? Like, gosh, like how many years of generations of knowledge of leadership he just gave you in a book?
Mm-hmm. It's like a cheat code,
It's
you know?
100%.
It
100%.
falls in the line of what we do, but also falls in line with like any podcast as well, right? Like,
Yeah.
when we give out game, it's like you are literally shaving years of work off of what you do,
100%.
Yeah. And for me, like the reason I want to talk about this right now too, not only I knew it would resonate with you and you have showed me the power of it, right? Because I'm not a huge reader. I've never been a huge reader.
Yeah.
The books I've read, they're kind of like, here's my interest. I know this will help me. Let me do it. Not like, you know what? Let me just find out what this guy has to say because everybody else has said it, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember I was in like a real like big investing stage in my life with real estate. Like I was trying to get into that game. Dude, I read like every Bigger Pockets book, but like for me, I wasn't like super passionate about it, right? So I was like, I know I can do something with this, but like I'm not super passionate about it. So now I'm finding things and I'm like, I can actually get with this because there's something behind it, right? Like right now I'm on to this coaching, right? Just like you are. So, Dan Martell.
Yep.
Yeah.
By
So
back time.
I'm reading that right now. And I'm telling you this, bro. You read it?
Oh yeah, I'm
Look,
going on my third time on it now.
it's not just a book that you're like, oh, reading, oh, that's cool, this is cool. It's like, no, like, hey, here's your homework. Come back and go to this chapter and reference this. Once you implement it, like, show the results. Like, it's crazy. It is almost like a map to success, right?
Yeah,
And for us, for me, for you, for anybody who wants to delegate and figure out what it even means to like build something where other people are doing tasks within your organization, like, you have to read this book. Like, I'm recommending it to every client I have right now. And they're not even in my field, but I know it's impactful and it works. And the principles align with people that are trying to grow, delegate, and scale their companies. You know,
yeah,
it's
absolutely,
huge. And
dude. It's
I haven't
crazy.
read many books, but this one is hitting me. And I also, like I said, I try to go with things I'm passionate about. I love PBD. I love their podcast. So I read, whatchamacallit? Enemies. What's that one?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like 5 moves or something.
There's that one, but there's choose your enemies wisely. Yeah. It's
Yes,
like a
yes,
business planning, but also it kind of gets you to understand like there is the super analytical person, which I tend to be, and then there's a little bit of the emotion that you have to have in it as well, right? And they
yeah.
both tie together. And for me, I was missing that emotional part. I can't galvanize the troops like I wanted to. So I have to work on techniques to help me do that. That's not a
Mm,
natural thing that I have in me.
yeah,
But you need that in business, you know?
yeah, yeah. I love that you self-reflected on that because you said, "Hey, I read this. See how great that is on a book, right?
Yeah.
I read this. I identified who I am and what I need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a pathway to focus on and then execute again, right?
Yep.
And it's funny that you're mentioning Dan Martell. I know it sounds wild. Literally on my notes this morning, where are we at here? Sorry, I've been taking a lot of notes today. But I
It's
wrote
good.
notes on Dan Martell, and it says audit, transfer, and fill.
Yes.
Right.
He's
And that
so
was
good,
this
bro.
morning from a read from his book.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's
I'm not a
interesting.
fast reader by any means. Are you a paperback guy or audiobook?
Both. I like
Okay.
both. Yeah. Because I take
Yeah.
notes. I'm not playing when I have a paperback book, I'm taking notes on it and
Yeah.
I'm acting like I'm in front of them and I'm pinpointing because like when you guys start to want to rip things in the leadership roles and into organization, I don't like to recreate the wheel. If it's been invented, I just want to master it, right?
Yeah.
I don't find myself as a creator. I find myself as an implementer. So like when I feel like it resonates and I implement it, I just drive it so deep for people that they're
Yeah.
just like, how are you able to rip that? I'm like, because I read it 50 million times. I said it over and over again. I believe it. So that passion now is like ironing it, like it's done. So that's where, I think for me, for the reading part, it just makes it easier for us to execute those things.
Yeah. And you also
Yeah.
brainstorm too, right? Because like you just talked about execution. You take the concepts and strategies that have worked in their business and you kind of tweak it just to make it work for yours, right? In that
Yes.
way. Painting
Yes.
business, your pest control. I'm sure you took a lot of the same concepts and just tweaked it slightly to make it fit, but it still worked, right?
100%.
That's like the power behind it. That's why I'm recommending these books to people that aren't even in our space that I know it will help, right? Even if you
Yeah.
read the book and get like half of the strategies at least down, you're making a huge impact. And you're taking somebody that like is at a such higher, level in his entrepreneurship career and he's just giving you free game.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
Yeah. I love it,
So,
man.
yeah, I'm like excited to read more books for the first time in my life,
Yeah.
It was more of like, okay, I know I have to do this, right? Like I was on these forums on this real estate website and they're like, read this book. Trust me, it will 10x your income. It'll build generational wealth for you. So
Yeah.
I'm doing all the work, right? But I wasn't passionate about it. Now I'm finding things that I'm, finding that can help me, but also I'm like, I'm all in on this. Like I love this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
So
that,
so
dude.
it's hard because if a couple years ago, if you would have said, Aiden, like reading books is going to change the way you think about life, I'd be like, dude, I'm good. I'll
Yeah.
watch podcasts and I'm good. Even though I like podcasts too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like I think I've phased out music probably 50%. I still get jacked up,
Yeah.
but I think for the first time I'm like, you know what? I'm good on the music. I was always a music guy.
Me too, dude. Dude, you and I are too much alike. Because I'm emotionally, I'd always be like, no, put music on. I don't care about
Yeah.
anything else. Now
Hmm.
it's like, okay, let me get into a state in the podcast and get in that flow of whatever
Yeah.
they're saying. Or, dude, that's super cool though that you're sharing that. Because it's like, what a great time to start talking about these things in the beginning of the year to give people ideas
Yeah.
in order for them to make shifts in their life without complicating it.
Yep.
Like you're literally giving them the tools right now. You're like, dude, just start reading.
And it's crazy because I'm telling you, like I said, a couple years ago, you could have told me a million times, do it, do it, do it. I wouldn't have. There's a mental block there, but it
What do you
wasn't.
think shifted? Sorry, you were about to say it. What do you think shifted
Yeah.
that got rid of that mental block for you?
I think a little bit obviously is the passion, right? I just talked about like, hey, like I'm now getting into something, so I'm getting consumed a little bit, right? And that's where my business mind has to come in and say, okay, what moves can I make to kind of delegate, right? That's where Dan
Yeah.
Martell. So it was almost like necessity, right?
Okay.
Like I would see his stuff. I would see somebody post, hey, read this. It is literally a hack, right? For buying back your time. I'm consumed. So I'm kind of like, okay, what do I do? Let's give it a shot. I start getting into it. And then every single chapter, it's like, poof, poof, or I start doing it and now I got time back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So now I'm like, damn, what else is out there that could make my life so much easier, you know? And then I think once you kind of build that habit, it's like a muscle, right? First time you go to the gym, you start working out, you're like, dude, I am so sore. Like, I'm never going back. I'm done. And
Yeah.
then you start doing it little by little, week after week, and you're like, this is a part of my life now. I'm so used to it, right? It is
Yeah.
helping me in ways that I never thought it would. It's kind of the same thing with reading, right? So I don't know if that kind of answered your question, but yeah, I think passion, where I kind of was at in my life as far as how busy I was getting and I had to make a move, but then just seeing the results, right?
Yeah.
When you're not passionate about something and you're doing something, it's kind of just like, well, I'm here, I'm putting in the work, but you know,
Just doing the steps kind of,
yeah, I'm
right?
doing the
Like,
steps, but like, I don't know, like I don't really want to be here, you know?
mm. I think that goes back to what you said. The passion is a fulfillment now for you,
Yeah,
right? So now you're like driving deeper and finding more meaning, and then it's building more value for you,
yeah.
which then there's that transfer, right? So, man, that's I love it.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
how
good stuff.
long you want to stay on reading, but I got one more for you
Yeah,
specifically.
yeah.
I think now, like, I would consider myself a rookie at reading, right?
Mhm.
Podcasts, I'm a pro. I love podcasts. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah,
But like, I think I'm a rookie at reading. I think you're a veteran when it comes to this, right? I
mhm.
mean, you sent me a whole book, right? Like,
Yeah,
I've got that one other time from somebody that I deeply respect and I consider a mentor. So it just shows kind of like the level you're at.
yeah,
But
yeah,
like, also, um, you speak with such conviction about how these books and these concepts have changed your life, which allows you to do the same for others.
yeah,
Right. So
100%.
like you're at a whole nother level, which I can't even imagine right now. Right. Like I'm
Yeah.
trying, but I think like you said, I'm on my third read through. A couple years ago, I would have been like, dude, who reads a book twice? I can't even get through one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like the people listening, the painters, the guys that like aren't like at that point in their life or drive wise, they're probably like, yeah, I'm good on books,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I think the biggest thing, right, brother, is when I think about repeating these same books, everyone looks for like this magic recipe or secret. And once I find what works, I don't change it. And I know I'm saying the same thing kind of, but I'm going a little deeper on this. It's like no different. You guys hear me say the same thing. I always talk about goal set and review, roles, goals, expectations,
Yep.
time management. I've been doing the same thing. I hope everyone listeners listen to this. It's pretty simple, guys. Get really good at the boring things every day because it becomes so boring that it's like it became a muscle now, like a workout that just happens over and over and over again. You start to fall in love with that. You start to go, man, I do the same thing over and over again. That consistency is what I learned by reading these books. I'm like, oh, no wonder why they call it the 7 highly effective habits, right? If I do this for the last 13 years that I've been doing, this is the result I'm living in. It's the today's age, right?
Mhm.
I can't say that anything else changed that. It's the same repetitiveness, but the deeper understanding of the repetitiveness.
Yep.
And when I can rip things off, when someone asks me a question it feels amazing to be able to have an answer for them. And it's based off the knowledge you're acquiring by these books. And you learn them in deeper stages and deeper stages. And I think kind of like what you're saying is when you're coaching, right? Notice how you said your passion is just becoming bigger. Because when you're coaching, you're learning, right? And like I've been coaching for years, just not in a professional standpoint as a coach. I've been coaching organizations for years. So like as you get older and you start looking into things like that, you start to go, wow, this actually works. It makes me passionate. Like I get excited. Like right now, all day, you and I, when we're like, hey, let's do the pod today, we're like, yo, let's go.
I said that audio and I'm like, I can't wait to get back, bro.
Yeah. Great. No difference than the coaching and the reading. Now the reading becomes that. Like, I can't wait to that next chapter. I can't wait to implement like in Dan Martell's book real quick. Like you can only rip these things based off the rereads, right? Mm-hmm. The 1-3-1 rule, the upward delegation.
Buying
That's
your time
all off
back.
His book.
Buyback rate, dude. Huge.
100%. I didn't invent it. I just read it. So
clip that. That's awesome. Another thing is, going back to the initial thing I said, readers make leaders. I think what's interesting is the people that are at the highest level, the CEOs, right? The people that are, having holding companies and buying, into the guys and raising them from the ground up. I think they have the foundational building blocks, right? That you said, those concepts, right? The 7 habits of highly effective people, all those reads that like, yeah, I read that. No problem. Right. It's kind of like, these are the essentials. You have to read them, right? Everybody like agrees, right? Yeah. It's like once you get to a certain level and you start conversing with people and they just start like ripping topics and strategies and different authors, you aspire to be at that level, right? But it's because they put in the work to do that, right? Yeah. And one interesting thing that I found is these are the guys that are super, super invested in not only culture, but their values and their missions, right? These are the things that get kind of forgotten when you're a little, smaller, when you're starting out. You're not thinking, oh, what's our mission in our company? What's the values? What should we, what should we use to galvanize the troops? When you start thinking, I am equipped to talk to those things and carry those things out, it becomes a game changer for you,
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Because you're not only now making decisions off of moral compass individually, it's the company policy, right? It's hey, how do we do things as a collective? And then you start to say, hey, you're one of the guys that can buy into our culture and that we could see fitting here, right? It's not like, oh, what are your skills? It's like, I think you'll fit just right with us and what we're trying to do.
100%.
It's different. And I remember early on, and I might have said this on the podcast before, but I had a owner like that, right? Guy, super smart, looked up to, reader, the whole 9, right? And I called him up and I said, hey, we got this thing going on, not sure what to do about it. Here's what I'm thinking. And he goes, okay, well, did you consider our values, right? Did you practice continuous improvement? Did you respect the individual, right? Did you? And he keeps rattling off the values. And I'm like, sure, yeah, okay, yeah, I did. And he goes, then you're making the right decision.
Yes.
And that clicked for me so much. Like, this guy is not like, oh, yeah, I would do the same thing, or I think that's the right thing to do. He said, is that what we live by? Cool, do it. I'm trusting you to make that decision. That's why you're in that position, right?
Yeah, man. I love that you said that because it's easier to make decisions when you identify those core values.
Yeah.
Because if they're misaligned, your answer is right there. So that's why they're built there. It's like a fail safe, right? Like, hey, these values are built. And it's something that I always teach people now too, because of that. Because when people ask those questions, they feel lost. Well, they didn't identify what matters most for them. So they feel lost because they're easier swayed based off of not the identity of who they want to become or what their values are, right? So, that's something I always talk about. I always say, what are your non-negotiables?
Yes, you do.
If someone break that, then there's your answer. Like, but if you don't have non-negotiables, you'll be easily swayed to do what they want you to do because you're kind of questioning it.
Who speaks to that a lot? Spencer Hayward.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Spencer with Swiftan. He has like his values hung up in the office. I saw a picture of it and it was like, we will never lie to you. And it just like rattles off a whole bunch of non-negotiables. I was like, I love that. you
Yeah,
know?
man.
Because you
Yeah.
think about that in your life. Like just today, we're walking down the street. My wife's walking. I'm kind of pulling off for something. I think an estimate or something. And then I look over, and my son's like, "Hey, Dad." I didn't know what he said, and I roll my window down. And he goes, "You lied." And I'm like, "What did I lie about?" And he said something. I don't know what I lied about, but in his head, he's like, "Daddy lied." And then my wife
Ooh.
goes, she goes, he told me this is the first time you lied. And I was just like, buddy, I don't know what I lied about or what you think I lied about, but I promise you it's not what you think. Right. But it was just that moment that I remembered to myself, I really have high standards with like my life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
These are my non-negotiables. These are like the things that I want to be remembered by, but also I want to instill in the people around me. Like that's a culture.
Yes.
If your
Yes.
son can say that, bro, that's different, you know?
Yes.
So I was
That's
kind of like, damn, I feel like a good dad right now. You know
yeah,
what
I
I'm
was gonna say.
saying?
It's like, Dad, what's up? Hold on. This is the first time in my 4 years. How old is he?
Yeah. Facts, bro. Yeah, 6 years old, man. But like that's just
Yeah.
how we are. Like she won't lie to him. Even if it's like, hey, we're at Olive Garden, we know he'd be upset if we were here. We'll still explain it to him. Like we fought about it before. Like
Yeah.
she was trying to kind of go around it. Like, oh, we'll be home. He's like, where are you at? And she's like, oh,
You're
we're
like,
coming home
"Mm."
soon. And I'm like, just tell him.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
have to, because here's the cool part. They'll always remember that. And that's their foundation you're building for
Yes.
them to become the new characteristic or valued person as they grow. So I mean, dude, that first of all, that's huge. For it to be from your children. They actually state, believe it or not, there's a psychology behind this. They say that your children show the parents. Based off the children, it shows the parents. And I'm not gonna say that's 100%
Right. But
accurate.
there's something there for sure.
There's definitely something there, right?
There's
And
something
that
there.
goes to show you what kind of values you instilled in them at a very young age.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You don't gotta be
absolutely.
perfect,
Nah,
just
not at all. Man, we're hitting
non-negotiables,
some
like we said,
topics
bro.
today. Woo!
Non-negotiables,
Let's go, baby.
dude. And I think also like the mission, the vision, and having these non-negotiables directly translate into having production off of your delegation. So what I mean by that is like if you know, hey, this is how the company operates, this is our culture, this is the
Yep.
people that we want in our organization, the standards we set. If I'm going to be delegating tasks to these people, now I know they can deliver with confidence, right?
Yes.
And I know they're going to be able to carry out the vision and be on the same page, and I don't have to worry about it as much, you know? Like if I know that I'm hiring a painter and he talks everything that we talk about, he's bought in, right? He's seen the difference, he's seen the culture and how it's affected him. Maybe we've touched him in certain ways as far as like, hey, do it this way because of X, Y, and Z, and he didn't think that way before.
Yeah.
Now he knows, and now he can teach other people, but now we can trust him to be on these jobs, deal with these clients. Hey, take this, Karen of a customer and do it like we usually do when we deal with stuff like this.
Yeah.
We
Love it,
trust you'll
dude.
make the right decision.
Love that. And you're absolutely right. These are values that other companies need to start learning and how to
Yeah.
identify again, right? So yeah, man. Awesome stuff.
It's good, man. This
Love
is
it.
good. And recently for me, I had to bring on like another virtual assistant just in my coaching because I'm like, it's just getting too much, right? I need
Yeah.
to look at these low level tasks, right? Dan Martell, and say, is it worth, going at night, bogging down, taking away, time from my family to do these low level tasks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something that I could just make a quick Loom video, show somebody how to do, and now they can do it repetition.
Yeah.
How many things can you do that with on your CRM in DripJobs, sending invoices, right? All the different things and little tasks in our business that we don't have to do ourselves. We can record a video, do it, they get better. And then the cool thing is they start doing more stuff and creating their own SOPs, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now we have a whole library of Loom videos. So if that person ever got replaced in any way, admin, sales rep, production manager, we now have an entire list of what their job was and how they did it. And they
Yes.
helped create it. And
Dude.
you got people that fit the vision, fit the culture, and they're building out your company for you.
100%.
This is
I
huge.
love that you said that. I caught myself saying that very often in the last couple of years because like people are like, oh, what are your SOPs? I'm like, I am the SOP. Like it's all in my brain, right?
Yeah,
And we
100%.
started doing videos too for like our office implementation, and I was like, wow, like we just hired a new person in Phoenix, dude. We only trained them for a week, and
Mhm.
they're like, oh, this makes sense. I've just been watching the videos you guys made.
Yeah.
When in the past it would have probably taken us 30 days to onboard a brand new receptionist with all of our processes because we don't have it anywhere,
Mhm.
because we're the ones dealing with it, and we know it. So I love that you mentioned that and how powerful that is, because you're right. Like now that those videos are put there, it was
Yeah.
1 week's training, because on their off times, they're literally rewatching it. They have the support system. And I
Exactly.
love how you said, um, now they're creating their own SOPs, because you're right. They probably think differently than us.
Yeah.
It probably made it simplified. So it's
Mhm.
like, thank you so much. Yeah,
Dude, use
that's
that
fine.
too, right? I know you've been building out the online coaching, right?
Yeah.
That's huge. Not only can you make those videos, right, and save a whole bunch of time on probably the same concepts you're going over with, hey, you got to do X, Y, and Z. Google
Yep.
Calendar, to-do list, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Have the people that are really good at the admin stuff, right, that can set that up and build all that out. I'm pretty sure you already are, but,
Yeah. Yeah.
just kind of
We're
making sure.
definitely certainly working on that, because I can't take on much more anymore.
100%, dude.
But yeah, dude, I
Yeah,
love
man.
it.
I mean, it's funny because we have the same kind of bottlenecks as the painting companies do,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
our own business. So it's
Yeah.
like we're dealing with the same stuff. It's just different industries, right? So
100%. 100%.
that's funny, dude.
Yeah, dude. So what's new for you this year? Because I know you've been, man, I'm so freaking proud of you, man, because it's like you've been working on so many great things. And I know, like, it's so funny in the industry, you're like the production rates guy, but what people don't realize, you have a library literally full, because you've given me access to it. Like, dude, your library is so beneficial and valuable that people don't even know, right? So, like, tell us a little bit about some things that you've seen that you are currently seeing as an issue with your current clients,
Yeah.
and what you have, because like I think it's valuable that people need to start looking into that, right?
Hmm.
Because I'm very specific and focused to mindset. You're very systems and focused on, like, hey, from 0 to 1 million, this is what you absolutely need.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to change that mindset of people thinking that you're like the production rates guy, because there's so much more value to your program.
Right.
And if they only asked more, right, or knew more about it,
Yeah.
then they would be able to seek it. So do you mind like just sharing with us a little bit more about the program? What can they get from it? And then what's new coming out this year, so
Yeah.
that they have something that they can look forward to in Paint Pro coaching?
Yeah. I appreciate you giving me the time to explain this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because for me, it's like ultimate accountability, right? I meet with people and they say, yeah, I went with this other coach, but it didn't really work out. So that's why I'm on this call. And I'm like, well, I didn't get you before that guy did, or my offer wasn't good enough to where you were like, hey, Aiden's the guy, right? So that's
Yep.
bad on my part, right? That's not great marketing and obviously not great sales or whatever the case may be. So to kind of combat that, one of the things that we're working on, funny enough, is revamping our funnel. We already got the brand revamped, but we're doing a complete rehaul because I want to better put out the fact that we do have these resources, right? And they are
Yes.
made already. And it's years and years of grinding of putting this together and perfecting them, right? And tweaking them also. So,
Yep.
yeah, man, we have a whole library, whether it's, production manager SOPs, right? Because that was my job back with CertiPro, right? My
Yep.
sales framework, right? That's like years of being on sales appointments, but also being with other people and seeing how they do it and just taking everything that I've learned, putting it all into one neat, tightened up thing, right? Line by line, what to bring, intentional questions, how to handle objections, right? Like the whole process. Because I always tell people, yes, you can learn one thing from a video online on one concept. But if you don't have an entire framework that it works within, it might not work for your company, because this other
Yes.
part that relies on the success of that isn't triggering as efficient as that, right? So you can't just look at one thing, right? So many times people say this marketing company isn't working out, Aiden, or whatever the case may be. What do you think? And I'm like, dude, well, are you following up 2 times a day, 2 texts a day, 1 email? Do you have somebody else doing it for you because you're on the sales? Are you getting to it fast enough? Like, there are so many things you need to check before you can blame that marketing company, right?
100%.
That's just one issue. Then you go down every other thing, like what are your guys doing, your subs, what kind of job posting are you putting out there? So like all of these things that you need, not only do they work and are they already done for you, all you do is insert your company and maybe put a little bit of your snaz or values on it, but like it all works together as well, right?
Yeah.
So I have a client recently and he goes, Aiden, I'm doing everything you're telling me, but every time I'm going into it and watching these videos, another video pops up online of another coach telling me how to do it differently. And I'm like, bro, the reason I have you do it is because it works with this. Don't
Yeah.
stray. Dial it in. Tunnel vision, bro. You got to stick with one and follow it through all the way. I promise you, this is a successful formula. So sometimes it's just a matter of no distractions, dial it in. And bro, all the stuff we have out there works. Like we've proven
Yes.
it. All the testimonials are out there. You can find them online. So that's one thing I need to get better of at. And we're doing the funnel. We're also going to be running more ads, right? To get
Nice.
some things out there. So that's something that we've been working on, putting videos together and whatnot. But I think the biggest thing is we're building a more expansive community, right? We brought on coaches, right?
Yep.
One's homegrown, Ben out of Iowa. He's been in the game for a long, long time. Wealth of knowledge. When I talk to this guy, I'm just like, bro, you're teaching me stuff. Like he's awesome. But also
awesome.
He is a proving concept of what we teach. And hey, he literally tells me, hey, bro, I don't even question. If you tell me to do something, I'm doing it. Because it's changed his life, right?
Facts.
He
Yes.
stuck with it. He didn't go, oh, this guy. He said, look, I'm dial in. This guy, speaks my language. We had a good relationship and we ran with it, right? A lot of it is a relationship and just investing in the guy that works for you. Not everybody's built for me or you, right? And you know that.
100%.
So if you're all in, go all in and you will see the results. And then also we have Sam with Forward Media coming on. He's going to be sales and mindset. I really wanted guys that I could trust, that I like, that have high energy, and that I know will grow with us, right?
Yes.
So we're already finding ways that they can contribute in certain ways and be compensated and stuff like that. But it's just like, I know they're going to be so involved and in it, right? That's why you have him on your calls too, because like this guy's a great guy, but also he's legit, super disciplined. I mean, sales monster. You talk about anything and he'll run with the topic, right? Super smart. I want guys that have that vision. And I need to do better, at my mission statement and my values, right? So that's another thing we want to build out a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we have it. We have the core, but now we got to put it in a nice little tight package so we can recruit more. And dude, you'd be surprised how many other people are coming and saying, how can I contribute? Aiden, like we know it works. We see the vision. How can we step up and spread the word? I mean, if you look in any Facebook group, I'm pretty sure you see the Paint Pro coaching when it comes to,
Dude, even me, I'm like Paint Pro.
Right.
I'm always shouting out Aiden.
Yeah, bro. No, I appreciate it. And I try to get, do the same thing back because I really think that's why we got into this, right? Is because not only do we align on a lot of things morally, but also
100%.
I think we can change a lot of lives, right? We've talked about doing partnerships with certain companies that fit the bill. So those are all the things that I'm looking forward to. That's why I put you on our graphic for the new Paint Pro coaching banner, right? Because you're a part of our community. Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
So I think the community building factor is going to be huge, the rebranding. And we're also doing something where we can now give out our resources because they've been so used and are so like, hey, our guys are going constantly back to the school and saying, add this, because they just want more. Now we can bring more people in that don't necessarily need or want my coaching, but just can get the resources.
Yeah.
Come in, be a part of the community, grab the resources, run with it. If you need a little bit of help, reach out to me and then we can talk about that. But like for the most part, if you just watch the videos, go through the PDFs, apply, you're good, man.
Listen to that.
That's where we're at right now.
Love it, man. I love it. That's awesome, brother. And man, that's first of all, it takes a lot of work, right? It takes a lot of work. But what I take away what you're saying is he not only holding and build. Well, actually, I would take it back. Everyone's always about building more value by adding stuff in there, but you're about holding the value, meaning not only build value, but also keeping the value system that you've created. I think a lot of people forget about that, right? They're chasing this like, oh, what's this next number? What's this next event? What's this next thing that I can
Right.
do? But you're so hyper focused on, I am adding to, while keeping the value of
Exactly.
how I believe in what I started.
Mm-hmm.
Does that
I,
make sense?
I don't want to dilute the product.
Yes. That's
Definitely.
huge. And I just wanted to highlight coming from me because I see that.
Yeah.
Like, because you're like, yeah, I added these things, but it's because it adds to the value I want to keep.
Yeah.
Right. And I think a lot of people forget about that. And they're seeking certain things. And hey, man, we're on the podcast. The cool part is we get to do this. That's what we get to do. So
Right. And,
when they're
you can
talking,
bring any coach on. I didn't mean to cut you off, but you can bring
yeah,
any coach in. You really have to make sure that they carry out your vision and that they are preaching the same things that you would and are cut from the same cloth. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
So it's like
100%.
I have to be very particular about this kind of stuff. I can't just be handing my guys over like a transaction. That's not how I'm built, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. I'm excited to hear more about it. So,
Yeah. Well, what about you, bro? I know you've made some big investments, bro.
yeah.
I really respect the fact that you sought some coaching, you went out and you said, I'm going to be in these circles because I know it's going to be beneficial for my life, my health. Like those are major things that you made.
Yeah.
That's big.
Bro, it's wild, right? Because like, even though I have painting companies and now I'm in the painting community, right? I think what people forget when they see me is that my vision, you guys have a strong niche. Like you guys are like, like it's painting, baby, and it's affecting it, and you're doing a great job in the painting world. For me, there's a psychological warfare that we live in, and the reason why I like to talk about mindset so much is that, think about it, as a contractor, what do we do every day? We just wake up, we get beat up by phone calls. And,
Yeah.
I hope this resonates for anyone that's listening right now. It's like, dude, I remember when I first started painting. Oh my God, dude, I must have quit like 50 million times mentally. Like, oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm done. And I'm telling my wife I'm over it, blah, 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 blah. And I wish I had a mental coach, right? Like where the mental coach was just like, hey, listen, here's the steps to do these things to keep you in a less stressful environment with a high stressful environment.
Yep.
And then coaches like you, like, but here's the resources to get you to where you need to be.
Yeah.
And for me, I've been working on higher end coaches right now where it's all mental. I want to simplify the thought process, right? And, there's tactics, there's techniques and things like that. So my focus has been really trying to simplify the mind
Yeah.
and creating it in our space where people can be like, man, that makes sense, where you didn't have to get a psychological degree, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like, hey man, this is what this means here. Simplify this, implement these things, and you'll see success, right? While
Yeah.
implementing these resources. Because it's easy too, right? And like you said, all these marketing companies and other coaches, like people blame the process, but they don't realize that it all starts with us as well. And if we're not able to get through our mindset, get through the obstacles that pop up, people going through divorces, people going through, illnesses and things like that, like, hey, life's still going to happen.
Yeah.
Like a course isn't going to prepare you for life.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what do you have to measure and what do you have in place to help you do that? That's where my shift is really going on, which is going to help all of us, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to help your program. It's going to help all these other programs because the mental side of it is the other key component to the resources. And that's what I've been focused on, man. So I'm recording a 12-week course. Yes, it has contracting
100%.
systems and processes in there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very mindset heavy related. So it's the first portion of it when I launch it is it's all mindset. Of
Yeah.
course, it's going to be the first thing I talk about.
It's funny,
So
dude.
just like things that I've talked about, like on Liftoff, fixed versus growth mindset. What does that mean, right? How to overcome that mindset. Things like the values. I have the whole Maven principle mapped out, right?
Yeah.
Like how to create my Maven into your systems, right? My core values into your systems, using mindset. And then I'm actually getting deeper in the psychology of sales. So one thing that I teach is drilling down.
Mm-hmm.
And what people don't understand is you can have a framework, you can have scripts, but when you do sales, right? when you understand the psychology, I was just talking to Ryan Pettis earlier today, and I was like, are you the salesman that talks about when a customer says, oh, I want to use white, and you're like, oh, great, I usually use Swiss coffee or whatever else, and and you carry on with a new conversation with that color? Or are you the sales rep that goes, okay, why did you want to choose white? Right? Because that is called drilling down, and I teach the psychology behind that. And now it brings you to simplify your process. Because when you learn that one question, watch where it takes you within the framework, like Aiden's framework, the sales framework you have. Why not add the psychology behind it? Now I'm teaching those things to help everyone else's programs and have more resources with, right? Does that make sense?
100%.
So that's what I've been working on, is the simplicity of those things and understanding the why we do what we do in sales psychology. And it's fun, dude. I love it.
Dude, honestly, bro, I think the biggest thing is when you see somebody's client transform before your eyes, right? With me, it's like, obviously their business transforms, they get more organized, they get time back, obviously. But like, I felt like when people come out of your program, they are a leader, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm talking before, they got with you, they are a different person. Like, bro, I talked to Damien. This man is like a CEO, got it all figured out. I'm like, bro, what happened before? Like, this is crazy. Same with Ryan. He's like, quoting books, and he's like, oh, I love that, concept. And he starts rattling off. I'm just like, bro, aren't you like 19?
Yeah.
It's incredible. And then they're telling me about the numbers, and every week here's their production goal, and like they're running me down. And I'm just like, bro, you're like a well-oiled machine. This is incredible. So I think like, I told this to somebody, like when you, obviously when you get with me, right, it's like, the structure's coming and whatnot, but when you get with Joel, it's like you're getting like a CEO leadership training that like is invaluable. So I actually have one guy right now who we're getting his, time back, and we're getting him off the tools and stuff. And he has a really good business. But I said, once you're done with me, we get you right, you're going to Joel, because he will literally take you to that vision, leadership, hey, galvanize everybody, which I still need work on. Like, I'll be the first one to admit, like, that's not my strong suit. That's why I'm bringing other people in to help me with that. But like, I'm telling you, bro, I think we talked about the reading breeds leaders. I mean, that's literally your alley, right? That is not my alley. So it just speaks to it, though,
Yeah.
Like I said, these guys that are high level, having the building blocks, reading these books and whatnot, like, that's literally you in a nutshell. And then all you're doing is just letting everybody else know about it and kind of teaching them on the strategies to do so. So,
brother, I appreciate that. Here's the craziest part: what people don't find the fulfillment is, and you're right, because just so you guys know, the word, everyone has like a word for the year. My word this year is called unrecognizable. And the reason why I took that word for this year is because I noticed the transformation from people last year. And I was like, damn. And, it was funny in my conversation with my wife the other day. She's like, hey, so like, what are you proud of? Like, all these 7-figure like entrepreneurs are coming out of the program. I was like, that's not what I'm proud of. And she goes, what do you mean? I was like, these are the conversations people don't get to hear. I've got clients who stop smoking weed, who stop smoking cigarettes, who stops drinking, who stop porn addictions. I'm more proud of those things, because those are translations of their future success, knowing that if they're able to stop the abuse, the things that are holding them back to see success, what do you think is going to happen naturally? Right? And I think what a lot of people are seeking out of me is they think I'm going to talk business, and it's the polar opposite. I talk about you and how you need to change so that everything else works for you. Right? And I'm so proud, man. Like, when my guys call me and shoot me a text, like, hey, they call me like, hey, boss, or Coach Jay, right? They're like, I haven't smoked a cigarette in 30 days. I'm like, whoa. Like, I get so pumped because I know that quitting of a bad habit, what that translates into everything else. Dude, that's what you're talking about right there.
What that does for the guys that are working with them in their company. I mean, they now see this leader in another light, make transformations, right, from investing in themselves. And you already know they're sharing with their, crew members what they're doing and the investments they're making, the coaching. And that makes you look at a leader and say, I'm all in.
Yeah.
If you're doing this, like, I couldn't imagine how this business is going to be booming and helping me in my life and giving me opportunities, dude. That's what you're doing right now. and it's
Yes.
crazy, bro. So I would love to see more marketing from you as well, bro. I mean, we
Oh,
need to
this
get
year's
a
the year.
whole rundown. So
Yeah, this year I'm marking it on the pod today that this
yeah.
year, last year I did it out of fun. This year I'm doing it out of mission.
Yeah, man.
And
And like I
it's
said, you attract people that help in the vision and carry it out, and they know it. Like, dude, I know you have people that you've coached that would help you in getting
yeah,
this out there, bro.
yeah, we're working on it. That's for sure. Obviously I don't want to say too much before it launches, but we're working on that for sure.
100%.
And dude, for you, dude, like I'm always here for you guys in your community. You know that
Yeah.
for a fact. Like anything that you need help with, like behaviors and jump starting like a battery pack for customers and clients and friends
Yeah.
and family, I'm all in, and it's really my passion.
Amen.
Dude, we're putting us together. It's like a freaking coaching program on steroids. I'm
Yeah,
just
bro.
gonna keep repeating that just so people know.
Dude, this is a perfect kind of segue into, and I'll be brief, but when we went to PaintCon, I talk about PaintCon a lot. That was a
Same.
powerful event. So I'll just put that out there for next year. I'm just letting people know, man, these events
Yeah.
change your life. Andy Elliott, most powerful thing he said, and he said a lot of shit. He goes, and this is because he has a lot of haters, right? You see it in
Sure.
the comments. They go off about him, right? But
Yeah.
dude, the guy loves his family, loves God. He helps his people, takes his shirt off his back for them. Bro, what more can you
Facts.
ask? That's a leader
Yeah.
that I want, right, around me. But anyway, he goes, yeah, you didn't like me. You didn't like me back then or a couple years ago? I didn't either. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Like new beast. Like think about that, man. All the things that you did before, whether it's bad habits, bad lifestyle, right? Not making the right decisions, not dialing in. When you just turn that page and you commit and you say, fuck that dude. I didn't
Yeah.
like him either.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell you shit now.
Yeah. You're
That guy
absolutely
is
right.
gone. Dead.
Yep.
That's powerful.
Transformational, baby. Yeah, man.
So that's huge, bro. But I
He
mean,
drops.
any last stuff, man? We're getting to the hour mark.
I would say, first of all, I'm excited, right, to get back on track. I think what a lot of people can start expecting now from us is, last year we did a lot of new things for both of us, right? From the coaching, trying things out, getting just people's feedback and stuff. One thing they can look forward to in our podcast is we're going to be more guest heavy, right? Like guys that are titans in the industry, more episodes. And we're going to start showing people what consistency looks like and what that transforms in everyone's lives. So I'm excited about that, my man. I'm excited to be a part of your crew and your group and your life. It means a lot to me. And I'm excited about the viewers and listeners. And I hope they understand, like, we do this out of passion to just give them as much advice, as much as we have and knowledge to just give to them as we've gotten from our mentors and our podcast that we've listened to. So we hope it's the same. Our request is share it, that you think someone can have some sort of impact. That's all we ask for, right? Just share the episode,
Yeah.
give us feedback, ask us questions. So that's my biggest thing that I really want to talk about. And the last thing I want to say before I hand it back over to you, because we usually end me with a quote, be unrecognizable this year. Be so transformative, like to a point that people won't recognize you going into 2026 because you made such massive changes in your life, hiring a coach, executing the processes, and making the commitments you say you're going to make. So that's my main thing I wanted to say.
Beautiful, brother. Amen, man. This is the kickoff pod, man. Super excited to, go another year and keep it up, week to week, man. We have a lot of really cool guests that we jotted down. They're going to be reaching out to, and we know they're going to hop on. So
Yeah.
I just can't wait for those, conversations to learn, to grow, and document the entire journey. And you can find us on Paint Your Path Pod on Instagram, TikTok, Paint Your Path Podcast on YouTube and Spotify. Wherever you're listening, we appreciate you, and we hope you tune in for episodes to come. So I'll pass it back, and we'll get a quote.
Yes. As always, we'll start for the new year. My favorite one of all. If you strive to be 1% better each day, at the end of 100 days, you'll be 100% better than when you first started. There's 365 days in a year, so that's a 300x return on self. God bless you all.
Boom.